Hey guys, on this episode of Real Estate Tips and Tricks, I am going to be going over a few things that you can do to help prep your home to list for sale. This is applicable for anybody who may have thoughts of selling their home or who may be in the process of getting ready to list their home. All right, so number one, you want to make the home inviting to any buyers that may be coming in to take a look at the property. So some of the things that you can do to make your home more inviting is number one, open blinds or curtains to let as much natural light in as possible. As we have a lot of buyers here in South Florida coming from the Northeast where they experience winters, kind of darker times during the year where they don't see as much light. So when they come down here, they want a home that's light, bright, airy, and ideally filtered with a lot of natural light. So opening those curtains kind of helps give the buyer that feel. Number two, checking light bulbs and replacing as needed. This is huge, especially if you have a home that doesn't receive a ton of natural light. Again, a buyer's going to want to see how much light comes into the home and how much light they can have in the home. So making sure all those light bulbs work gives the buyer a good idea of, again, the lighting within the house. Number three, touching up any scuffs on the walls. This can also include neutralizing paint colors within the home if you have a lot of bold or dark colors. Again, the idea is neutralizing the space, making it bright, making it light, and making it clean, easy for buyers to envision themselves moving into that home. This one's kind of obvious, fixing anything that's broken. These things are going to come up in the inspection, whether we like it or not. So it's good to go ahead and get ahead of those things. Also, if a lot of things are in disrepair, oftentimes if a cabinet doesn't open properly or a door doesn't open properly, this can kind of put a buyer off during the showing process and give them concerns on how the rest of the property is maintained. So we don't want to give them any of that headache. We want to just go ahead and get ahead of that stuff. Finally, the last way that you can kind of make your home more inviting for a buyer is give every room a clear purpose. This is really huge in South Florida because a lot of our homes, townhomes, condos have smaller bedrooms and not a lot of storage space. So when you give a room a purpose, it helps a buyer overcome that by seeing how they could utilize that room. A lot of times in smaller bedrooms, even just putting a bed and a nightstand helps give a buyer an idea of how they could set that room up and reassure them that it could in fact be used as a guest room or a second bedroom. Also, offices are huge right now, so setting up a home office or a home gym can really help a buyer, again, overcome some of the obstacles that they may have with purchasing that home. So in addition to making a home inviting, it's also really important for a seller to show that their home is cared for. So some of the things that you can do to, of course, show that is clean your vents and baseboards. This is huge, especially in Florida with all of the dust, pet dander, dirt, pollen, etc. Our vents can get really dirty. Our baseboards can get very dusty. This can be really off-putting to a buyer when they see it just makes it feel like you're not maintaining your AC or keeping your home clean, which again, buyers kind of take that, they run with it, and their brain starts to think, okay, well, how well are they maintaining everything else? Number two goes without saying, vacuum, mop, or sweep the floors. Again, guys, clean shows that you keep the property well maintained. Declutter throughout. This also helps making the home more inviting. Walking into a home full of the seller's stuff really depersonalizes the home for the new buyer. It makes it hard for them to envision them being in that home because all they can see is what the current owner does to that home. It makes it very hard for them to feel comfortable. If you think about it, new construction models, they have no pictures of anybody, no families, anything like that. Of course, because nobody lives in them, but also because a buyer wants to be able to walk into a space and envision their family photos up on the wall, their personal stuff on the counters, etc. Another big one, organize countertops, cabinets, and closets. Kind of goes along the same theme as decluttering throughout. People want to see how much space you have within your closets, your drawers, what they can store, etc. So the more things that you can clear out, it gets you ready to be packed and moved out. So you're kind of getting ahead of that process. But it also makes the home more appealing for the buyers. And then, as I just touched on, take down personal photos or items. It's not necessary, but obviously people are going to be walking through your home, kind of looking through your stuff. So sometimes this is more of a comfortable thing for sellers, more so than anything. It's just kind of removing some of their personal items. All right, and finally, to make your home ready to sell and ready for buyers to walk through, boosting curb appeal is huge. A lot of times a buyer will just drive by. If it doesn't look right from the outside, they'll keep going. So power wash your outdoor surfaces. Again, huge in Florida. It's moist and wet here all the time. So mildew and mold grows like crazy. So make sure that you're power washing the exterior, driveways, surfaces, etc. Wash the windows inside and out. Again, this goes into letting in light. If your windows have a ton of mildew on it, first of all, it doesn't look very good. It's not the most attractive. It kind of gives a buyer a sense that you live in a dirty home. Again, if people don't understand mold, they may think that your home is covered in mold, which obviously is not a good thing. So, you know, all that kind of stuff, it may seem like common sense, but it's really important to helping the buyer, again, vision themselves in that home. Tidying up landscaping, mowing your lawn, doing all of that, little things that help, again, kind of give that curb appeal that people would be looking for. Freshen up your entry. In previous videos, I talked about painting your front door, bold statement doors, maybe changing light fixtures, even addresses on the outside of the home, changing the numbers to different lettering, more modern lettering, a lot of fun little things that aren't very expensive that you can do to freshen up your entries. Even just adding little pots and plants and things like that are a fun way to freshen that area up. And finally, before showing, sweep patios, decks, and walkways. So you always just want to do a quick little final clean before any showings or open houses, so everything looks spick and span before a buyer comes walking through your property. All right, guys, so I hope this was helpful. Just a few ways to kind of get your home ready to sell. I've done a couple of videos on this topic, so feel free to check out my YouTube channel for some more advice on what you can do to really improve your property, whether it be updates to the interior, changes made for insurance purposes, or like we said, just getting the home ready to sell and for buyers to come through. There's a lot of great information and tips about that. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great holiday weekend. Again, drop any comments below if you have any questions or shoot me a DM. If you're ever thinking about selling or buying, reach out to me. I'm happy to help kind of tailor this advice to best suit your needs. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.